All right, joining us now is the CEO of Space Angels Network, Chad Anderson. Good morning, how are you?
Morning. I'm doing very well, thank you.
Okay, well, so it's been quite a long time since anyone's really wanted to go to the moon, and China looks to be not only wanting to go there, but they want to go to the far side, they want to kind of land. What is this renewed interest in the moon, and maybe specifically for China as a country?
Yeah, in terms of want, I think a lot of people have wanted to go for a long time. I think there's been a gap since the Apollo era, and people have been, had their sights set on the moon for a while now. I think we're just starting to see some of that come to fruition. So you mentioned China. ESA has ambitions for the moon, and they're pulling together a number of different countries. They're talking about, sorry, the European Space Agency.
Okay.
Yep, sorry. And they are talking about developing a lunar village, right? So basically setting up an outpost on the moon to do science, to operate from deeper space missions, that sort of thing. So,
Has China been quietly doing this, or is this expected, I guess, by most in the industry?
Yeah, I mean, I think that the white paper that came out that explained what they were doing the other day was right in line with expectations, but they've come on the scene very quickly. So we've seen them, like they've done in so many other industries, really catch up. They were later to the game than maybe the US or Russia, but they've been making a lot of great progress. I mean, they just had astronauts, taikonauts, up on their space station, which they're planning to expand. And so they have great human spaceflight ambitions. Like you said, they're planning to put a rover on the far side, which hasn't been done before. They put a rover on a couple of years ago, and so they also have ambitions to put humans on the moon as well.
So it's sort of like what Elon wants to do with Mars.
Well, I was going to say, how big of a threat could this be to the U.S. when, with Donald Trump stepping into the White House here very soon, and maybe those relationships, obviously, with China not being the smoothest that they've been in the past? How big of a threat could China and its space exploration program be to what's going on in the U.S.?
Yeah, I think the U.S. and China space programs haven't really worked together as much as other agencies have. So I think that there has been some progress made over the last couple of years. I don't know how that's going to be impacted. I think a lot of us are still guessing as to what's exactly going to happen under the new administration. We've got NASA was sort of an afterthought, possibly, by both candidates, and so what people are doing is looking to the landing, the transition team, and who makes that up to sort of guess as to what the direction is going to be. And he's filled the transition team with people who are on the Constellation program, which was a canceled program to put humans on the moon. And they've recently added some commercial spaceflight advocates and players that are very interested in the moon. So it could bode very well for our portfolio companies that are doing lunar logistics, and
What are those companies?
So we've invested in Astrobotic. They were a competitor in the Google Lunar X Prize. They have a fantastic launch manifest. They're generating money today. They have customers that are paying them to take them to the moon. They've partnered with a number of other key players, including Airbus, DHL for shipping, Aerojet Rocketdyne. They've already been partnered with NASA for quite a while. So this is a company with some fantastic technology, purely private, privately funded, and so they're planning on taking payloads to the moon in the next few years.
When are investors going to be more turned on to this sector as the tech sector kind of peters out and becomes more kind of, all the SaaS stuff and, not as exciting as going to space or Mars?
I think it's already happened. This last year in 2016, we're still pulling together the final numbers, but it looks like 2016 even edged out 2015, which was already a huge year for investment. So over the last 5 years, $7 billion of non-government private equity investment has gone into space companies. The chart looks hockey stick.
Right.
The number of companies that have come online that have raised private capital, that are executing on business plans, it's grown from a dozen 10 years ago to hundreds today. It's really robust. Number of companies, a lot of investment.
It feels like among the private U.S. space companies that getting humans to Mars or getting humans in space is one of the top priorities. How do China's priorities differ when it comes to space?
I don't know if they differ. I think that they're similar. They are Whereas a lot of what's happening in the U.S. and a lot of the excitement is happening from private industry coming in and doing things with much more ambitious timelines, doing things faster and cheaper. The Chinese efforts are primarily government funded. I don't know how that's going to actually play out. I mean, but I think that everyone's got their sights on Mars. China, following on their lunar ambitions, China's trying to land a rover, aiming to do that by 2020.
Yeah.
You've got a number of new space agencies, like the UAE has a space agency, and they're also partnering with other countries and working to land something on Mars in 2020. So I think we all have, our ambitions are aligned.
Yeah, we lost John Glenn earlier this month, obviously a national hero. Are there any certain personalities in China that they're trying to promote in the country to also rally the country around going to space?
Oh, that's interesting. You mean a Chinese
astronaut that maybe, or or scientists that are doing things in this particular space to try to boost national support for going into Mars, or not to Mars, sorry, going to the moon?
That's a good question. I mean, they've been doing their human spaceflight program is relatively new, like I said, but so maybe they're still working on building those profiles. But yeah,
no Elon Musks right now out of China that have ambitions into space to that level.
Not that I know of. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. All right. We'll have to keep watching on that.
Yes, Chad and Anderson, CEO of Space Angels Network. Thank you so much for joining us.